September 2018, and it's Sunday, and today I did the talk at Relief Society about Am I a Child of God? And wow, it went well, and I'm feeling excited about it, even though it didn't like totally go the way I had planned, but so many other things did. And Wendy Ralph was there. Wendy Ralph and her family have moved to the other ward. I guess it's been like over a year and a half now. And they were really prominent for me when I first came in. And then the talk I gave today, actually, I had her in the intro because when I was a fairly new member, I know she did a talk in Relief Society and had this painting that was central to what I was talking about that shows Jesus Christ with a child, you know, looking up at him and absorbing all this information. And I'm like, that was me. I was 50, so I wasn't a child, but I was a child spiritually. Anyway, so that was like my intro, and I had the actual painting or picture painting that I brought that from home, plus another one that I had in a book that I bought since because I love that artist. And she's there today, of all things. They've been gone a year and a half, and they came in to watch Brother Eccles talk since he's now come back from his mission. So that's why they were there to support him. So to see her there, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And so anyway, getting back to the talk, it didn't start off that people were not offering their thoughts on stuff, and I was like specifically asking things, and I was like, uh-oh, this isn't gonna go well. So fortunately I had stuff to fill, and then things started to roll and people started to engage. So I was like, thank you. And Tara Arneson had shared a pretty emotional story as it relates with her mom when Tara was heading off on her mission. Tara's in her like late 30s, early 40s. Her mom was having a terrible, terrible spell with depression and anxiety. Interest, because Tara also has weight issues. So hopefully that'll connect with her at a later point. But she really got into emotionally what had happened during that time period and how her mom just thought God didn't love her anymore and, all this kind of stuff. So it was a great story to share. But she got so emotional in it that she had to get up and leave. But she did come back. She finished what she wanted to say, and it just got a little too emotional, so she left. But she did come back. So then more people started to engage. Different people said different things, and it was really good. And I could tell by the looks on people's faces that they were paying attention. But it just seemed really emotional, which I really didn't think this topic would be that emotional, but I guess it was. So anyway, Leah was there, and Leah had, although she's a part of the Relief Society board, since she had her baby, she's really cut back and hasn't come to church, and her child's under 6 months somewhere. And since Leah and I have, talked about binge eating and bad stuff, and when she was the beginning of her pregnancy, I took her with me to the addiction support group through church, really more, because that was a year ago, maybe. So I had already gotten healthy, but, I knew she really needed this, especially getting pregnant. And Verity and I have talked about her. A lot of us are concerned with her because her weight is just ballooning up, and she's had either the bariatric or the sleeve surgery, and that was many, 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 many years ago. Obviously didn't work. She got tremendous binge eating issues. So I could see her as I was talking. She didn't engage during, but she was just like in tears afterwards, and I sat down with her. People starting to disperse, and I'm like, what's going on? And she just said, just so tearful, she says, I feel so alone. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's like a new mother, and IV, to even have the baby was a big deal. They had to have a ton of different IVFF stuff, and it's a big story. I'm like, you feel alone? I'm like, oh my gosh. So we started to talk. The binge eating has gotten a lot worse, and she can't control it, and her dad had died, and he was huge as well. And he died before the baby was born, so over a year ago, I guess. Anyway, so we started talking, and I said, well, let's just take it offline. But then we walked outside, and she started to talk more about it. I'm like, I don't know how it went, but basically I said, how can I help you? Can I help you now? She said, yes. And she said, for me to even be here today, which is the first time that she's been in since she's had the baby, and even before that, or even way before then, and she actually conducted today. And she said to me, there's a reason then why of all days I come back today, and of the times you said that this topic has been changed so many times, she said, this is divine intervention. And I'm like, yeah, whatever you want to call it, let's get together. So we talked afterwards, so we're going to do that. And I said, but I got to tell you, I said, coming from, being in your shoes that you're in right now, and that, then now I'm on the other side, and it's a much better place to be. But I got to tell you, I'm not going to be easy on you. I'm just not. I just want to label that right now. I'm helping other people here at church, but I just want you to know I'm not going to pussyfoot around with this, because you and I have a history, and she said, that's exactly what I need. I need that. I'm like, yep, let's do it. So excited about that. And then Tara sent me afterwards a text, which is really cool. And she said some really kind words, something about how I conducted it and how I took my time with a lot of the quotes. She said it made it so much more powerful, the way that you did it. And she said several other things and sent me a link to something else, which coming from her, she's so spiritually strong. I'm like, oh my gosh, so great. Yay. And then also I wanted to kind of get her as far as her weight. And now that I know her mother has don't know if she still has depression and anxiety, and I kind of think Tara does as well. I think that's a family issue with her kids, because she's talked about some other things. So I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe this can be a way to work with her too, to help her. So I'm excited. So it went well. I'm kind of glad it's over. Unlike Spring into Health, I wasn't happy that it was over because I was so excited about that. But, who knows? Maybe this is just another step in the way that how I can help folks at church. So, yep.